Welcome to the Growth Lab, where business ambition meets motherhood. I'm Luba, a mom of 3, a self-made millionaire, speech-language pathologist, and founder of 2 clinics in sensory play gyms and a mobile therapy bus unit. Join me each week as we dive into what it takes to grow successful business, balance family, and create real impact. I'll share my hard-won insights and bring on inspiring entrepreneurs with stories you won't want to miss. Let's turn dreams into action, build with purpose, and thrive on our own terms. Welcome to the Growth Lab. Let's build, scale, and thrive together. Let's get this party started. This episode is sponsored by Kidology Inc., a nationally recognized pediatric therapy provider. Kidology Inc. delivers comprehensive speech, occupational, physical, and behavior therapy services in a multidisciplinary, multilingual setting. With multiple clinic locations, a mobile therapy bus, sensory play gyms, Kidology ensures access to high-quality, personalized care for children of all abilities. Recognized by the Inc. 5000 and the Philadelphia Inquirer as top workplace and industry leader, Kidology Inc. remains committed to innovation, inclusion, and measurable outcomes. To learn more, visit kidologyinc.com or follow Instagram at Kidology Inc. So today we're chatting with my friend, Erinn Askin. I'm so grateful to the Millionaire Founders Club that we found each other. And Erinn is an occupational therapist. So she works with pediatrics in her location in California. Yep. Yeah. And it's called Oteim. So I just wanted to talk to you today because we are good friends and we talk a lot about business and things. Yep. But I don't really know your history. So tell me a little bit about your background. Yep. You became an occupational therapist, and where did you go from there?
Sure. Well, I'll back up a little bit. Okay. So the reason I became an occupational therapist was I nannied for this woman, and she had like this cute little minivan, and she had this cute little house on Laguna Beach and cute little kids, and she would always go shopping at Target, and I was like, whatever she does, that's what I want to do. And she was an occupational therapist.
She inspired your life. Does she know this?
Well, she's not a very nice lady. Oh. She's a local competition.
Oh, so, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Well. She knows a lot of things. Anyways. Okay, so then I went to OT school. I was in private practice. I've done school-based. I've worked at a hospital. Then I was a professor for a while. Then
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So I was a professor of anatomy and physiology, and that kind of blends into what I do now. And why? Because people will say to me, like, why aren't other people doing exactly what you're doing? And I think that because I was a professor of anatomy and physiology for several years, that really led into me feeling more confident with the neuroscience piece of what I do now that a lot of people don't feel confident with. Yes. So when I do my training, that's where it starts. So like week 1 is like this mini kind of neuroscience review. And I'll always ask people, like, did that feel like a review to you? Did it feel like things that you already knew? And I'd say 80% of the time people are saying, like, I knew a little bit of it, but I definitely didn't know all of that, and I want to keep digging in further.
Okay. So you didn't always own your own private practice. Where did you work before?
I worked, before I was a professor, before COVID, I worked at a chain, like a, kind of a clinic chain. And I really actually regret that. Oh. Because I started there when my daughter was 10 weeks old. I have 4 kids. They're 9, 8, 7, and 4. And now that I am a boss and reflecting on what kind of culture I want to have and how I want to treat my clinicians and my employees, I think that it's just really disturbing how some of these places treat their employees. I'll tell you the reason that I started my business, how it really kicked off, was I was a professor and I wanted to take 2 weeks off that I had earned of vacation with my kids because they were off school and we wanted to take a vacation back to where my husband's from. And my boss said no. She denied my vacation because she said, I don't want to have to pay for someone to cover you during that time. And so at that point I said, this is not how I'm spending my life.
Yeah.
And I quit.
Okay.
And that was a big risk, especially for me, for like, now that I've done like generational trauma healing, being an employee was ingrained in me. You work for someone else, you're grateful for your paycheck, whatever it is, even if you don't think it's enough, and you just keep doing it. That's it. Mm-hmm.
And then what gave you the courage? Then suddenly you were like, I'm going to open my own practice?
Yeah. So the first thing was a very wealthy family said, hey, we really like what you're doing. We like you as a person, and we'd like you to be kind of with our 2 daughters full time. And what would it take for you to leave your professorship? And at the price that they were able to pay, it was like 12 hours a week.
Wow.
And to make the same amount of money.
Sure.
And they were like, okay. And so then I was able to pick my kids up from school and take vacations when I wanted to. And so that lasted for a few months, and I was able to bank up enough that when we were kind of done doing that super full time, I was able to kind of transition into my own thing.
And now you're doing something a little bit new, innovative.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about your approach in therapy. Yeah. What happens at Oteim that's different than your traditional occupational physical speech therapy clinics?
Yeah, sure. So we use lasers in my clinic, and people are usually surprised at how small they are. So this is
What's the quote?
A small and mighty.
Small and mighty.
So this is a low-level laser. It's a class 3B cold laser, and they come in different wavelengths. Wavelengths are the colors. Different wavelengths mean different depths of penetration, and so they also have a little bit different kind of chemical properties, I guess you would say. So some are more vasodilators, the colors have different reactions. We'll just leave it at that. I opened my practice because one of my daughters has ADHD, severe ADHD, and we were told to get her into social skills groups. I'm like, okay, we'll get her into social skills groups because she spit on someone at school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, great. So all they did was keep calling me, and social skills groups. And I called around everywhere, and she was like 6.5 at the time. And they're like, we don't have any social skills groups that are for kind of neurotypical kids that are just like not behaving well. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I should just open something small for groups. And so I actually started the practice by renting out half of a kid's gym. Which was so lucky, and I'm so grateful for that because it came with all the equipment.
Yeah.
And that was just a really lucky break. And so we started with 12 groups a week, social skills groups. So after that, I started building up my kind of, private clients. And at the same time, people were bringing me their kids, friends were bringing me their kids.
For OT?
Yeah, for OT and speech.
Okay.
And one friend, a good friend of mine, she has a child very similar to mine, hadn't seen them for a little while, saw them at a party, and he was the best behaved. He was like waiting nicely, he was like so polite, he was so calm and collected, and I was like, oh my God, tell me what you did to him. And she was kind of embarrassed, but she was like, I took him to see this lady, and she uses lasers and neurotech and these exercises. And I was like, okay, tell me, like, just film it so I can see what it is. Brings me the video. I'm like, I can do this. So I bought a laser. I taught myself. And then I emailed all my clients and I said, hey, I'm not the best, but I'm going to try my best. Are you interested in trying this new technology that we're using? It is not new. Photobiomodulation has been studied transcranially for 60 years.
Yeah.
It's declassified by the FDA because there have never been major side effects reported. And there's many functional neurologists / chiropractors that have been using this tool for a very long time. And so I wanted to share that with other people. So sometimes people are not totally comfortable with chiropractors. And also what I was seeing that the chiropractors were doing is they were kind of dipping their toe into speech. Okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They were kind of dipping their toe into OT. And that felt a little strange to me, right? Because I don't know where that is in chiropractic school. So
it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
But we'll be kind.
Yes, for sure.
We love them for that. And there's room for everyone. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to implement this into my therapy. And so that's what we did.
So tell me how it works. So if you want, you can show it on me or you. But for example, I'm coming to you and I'm having difficulty with speaking and I'm having difficulty with utensil holding or can't lift my arm well.
Sure.
How does this laser benefit me?
Okay. So those are Two very different things, okay? So first, what we do is a very functional profile and evaluations. We can now even use an EEG to look at each piece of the brain and figure out exactly where in your brain you're struggling. And when I say struggling, we're talking about ATP. We're talking about cellular energy and mitochondria. And that's what these lasers do. So basically, if you were not fit, let's say you really couldn't lift your arm very much, you might consider going to the gym. And you're gonna work it out and you're gonna work it out and then you're gonna be able to lift your arm.
Okay.
Well, how do we do that with the brain? We do it through functional activities, through repetition. But that's pretty slow. And if our brain does not have enough oxygenation, energy, ATP, then we're not gonna be able to absorb that information very quickly, okay? So this is really a tool that's going to energize and oxygenate certain areas of the brain that just aren't working as hard as we need them to, such as speech, motor.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to determine where that is through a nice evaluation. And then when we're doing functional activities, we're going to energize it just by shining the laser. That's simply all that it does. Mm-hmm. With the wavelength, it's going to react with your brain tissue and create more ATP in your cells in that particular area of your brain. And if we're doing it while we're doing the work, the speech therapy, the occupational therapy, so if we're over here, we might be doing some speech things, then it's going to accelerate the progress.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And how long will you shine the laser, or do you use different lasers in the time that the child is with you? I know your intensive can be a week long and they come for a couple hours a day, but like right now we're using the green one. Is that for 30 minutes and then something else? How does that usually look?
Yeah. So everything is customized to the kid's needs. So like I said, different wavelengths are for different things. We might use different wavelengths on different pieces of the brain. We might use 2 lasers at a time. We might use 4 wavelengths. Infrared is kind of the most studied and the deepest penetration. So we pretty much always are going to use infrared, but there's different wavelengths for different things. If someone comes in with tics, we need to try to hit the basal ganglia. That's deep inside your brain. And so of course we're going to need to do infrared. A lot of kids come in with impulsive behavior. That's going to be in your frontal lobe. And so we can use a shorter wavelength because it's closer to, it's on the cortex. So all of those decisions are made ahead of time.
Okay.
The parents are made aware of the why.
Yes.
We always want parents to feel extremely comfortable. There's full transparency. And when we're putting together treatment plans, we're making sure that they know exactly why we've chosen those areas, why we've chosen those wavelengths. And we start very conservatively, observe the child each day, and then go up from there.
And so essentially, you could cut therapy treatment time in half if things are moving at the pace that we want while we're working. This will speed up the process of the therapeutic exercise.
I mean, you might cut the therapy time in 1/100th. Like,
Oh, wow.
I mean,
It depends on
what
reaction.
the issue is,
Sure.
how severe it is. And
that's another question I have. Does it have to be something severe, or can it be something lower level?
Yeah, something lower level is actually going to be a little bit quicker to
Yeah,
deal with.
sure.
And the reason is default mode. So if we have these connections and maybe something happened, like maybe I have a concussion, so my behavior is a little bit off, right? That's because I'm still in there, I've made these connections, but something's kind of on top of it blocking those good connections. We can use the laser to clear inflammation. Those connections are there, super strong. We've cleared out the inflammation that's been on top, and we go back to doing whatever we need to do. Kids with like genetic level 3 autism, where there's a lot of stuff going on in the
Sure.
brain, those results are going to be more tempered and take a little bit longer. But we're very transparent with a prognosis when we make the treatment plan. So we will tell parents exactly what we think will happen. What we hope
This
will
is
happen.
incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated because I see progress in traditional therapy with children. So to be able to accelerate is every parent's dream, essentially.
Yeah.
And I've noted before too, like if you've traveled or you fell under the weather, you would use it sometimes.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it a similar purpose to kind of clear yourself?
Oh yeah. So when you get this laser, it has 300 uses already programmed in, and then I have specific ones for ADHD, dyslexia, sensory processing, whatever, like kind of the common OT ones are. But there's 300 in here, and really the premise of it is like, getting similar energy to the sun. Right?
Okay.
I've used it for strep throat. I bring it with me for my kids for behavior. So we'll work on frontal lobe. There's one for insomnia. Maybe you can't sleep on vacation, bloating, stomach aches. My kids go to it for everything. If they're feeling off, they'll be like, I need laser. Also, if they have aches or pains, like growing pains, kids our age have growing pains, any and all things.
So aside from this fascinating piece and really bringing this to the communities, and I know internationally, what an amazing feat you had this summer, you're also teaching this.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about your course.
Yeah, so my course, I like to call it neuroadaptive therapy in a box, and neuroadaptive therapy is a term that I've trademarked to mean all of these kind of functional neurology things, but plus occupational therapy and speech therapy, and that's what makes it a little bit different from what the chiropractors are doing.
Yeah.
So the course, I've designed it to be neuroadaptive therapy in a box, and people will say, well, why are you doing that? Why are you giving away everything? Like my director of operations says, why are you giving away everything? And the reason is there's no shortage of people to help on this planet. We will never run out of people to help. We will never run out of children to help. We will never run out of teens to help. We'll never run out of elderly people to help. If I gave away this course for free and anyone who was interested took it and started implementing, we still would not help all the people that need help, right? Like there's no way we wouldn't even come close.
Yeah.
So, that is not something that I worry about. We provide, the highest level of care in our clinic and integrity and research and just the best equipment. And so there's no reason to be scared of sharing information of how to help people optimally.
For sure. No, and like if, for example, we're on different coasts, but we're both offering this, we're not competing, we're working together to help more people. So I feel like when you have that mindset.
100%. And we should all be working together in different professions, in intra-professions, to help as many people as we can. There's literally no shortage of people to help, and there's other countries, many other countries, where this kind of access is not available.
Yeah.
And so those people, some of them will travel out to various clinics all over the world. We usually have an international client, probably about once a week. We have various international clients, and then we take the clinic all around the world, like you mentioned.
Do you have repeat clients?
We do. So people will ask like, well, okay, if they get better, like how long is it going to last? So you got to think about, I like to use the analogy, when you learn to walk, you learn to walk. Did you forget and you need to relearn this morning? No.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So once we create a strong neural network, now does that mean that happens in a week at my place? No, it doesn't.
Right.
Okay. This is not a magic wand. We are not doing miracles over here, and I'm not claiming to do that. We are priming the brain to more efficiently accept information. That's it. So you still need to go back and do your traditional therapies. Parents still need to be working with the child, but it's going to make filtering that information more efficient. So sometimes we will have repeat clients, not always. Do people need to come back? It really depends on how much progress they made.
Yeah.
Did they buy a laser to use at home? Are we doing what we've trademarked as a home intensive, so a home intensive therapy?
Yeah.
All of that to say most people that are repeats is because they've had really good results and they want more. So kind of my laser mentor, I was telling him before, like, we did such a good job for these people, like, and they had such great success. Like, I don't know why they feel the need to come back. And he's like, Erinn, when you give someone a miracle, they're going to want another miracle. So
you're
it's up to
giving
the family.
hope to all these families. What's next for Oteim and for Erinn?
Yeah. What's next? So I always wanted to have a global brand. And so we have partnerships and licensing deals in several different countries where we're going in and training people. Thank you. Training people to bring this to their country. Some countries, this is going to be the first touch point. So Northern Ireland, Scandinavia, Dubai has a couple. I've trained one. And we're doing licensing there, and then we bring our pop-ups all over the world so that people can access this and not have to fly to us, because for some people that's not even possible.
Sure. So to kind of rapid fire end, do you have one piece of advice for clinicians who want to be innovative like you?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Like, everyone is always looking over their shoulder. Everyone is so worried about what other people are going to think. And if you continue to be in that mindset, you're not going to elevate your practice, and you're not going to elevate your field, and you're not going to provide the best treatment.
Yeah.
Right? The world is evolving so quickly, and information is so readily available, and it's actually detrimental for clinicians to stay so stuck in these antiquated methods. That doesn't mean that they're bad, but it also doesn't mean that the new methods aren't the best. So we have to always continue to keep pushing. And there are people that are scared of laser, right? That name, laser. There are people that are afraid of this method and don't understand it. And that's okay, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. And it doesn't invalidate the gains that all the people who've done this
have gotten. Yeah.
So it's okay to not want to be outside of the box, but if you are an innovator, just do it. Just make it happen.
Amazing. That's great advice. Yeah. Do you have a special quote that you want to end with, or some words of advice other than go for it, but like something that motivates you?
Yeah. So one thing that I learned after taking a lot of business courses was this thing MVP, which is a minimally viable product. And a lot of us have an MVP. Maybe it's just an idea, maybe it's a thought, maybe it's an innovation. If you've got one, just go for it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. You can do all that later, and you're going to keep doing that. Like, you're going to get to one level, and then you're going to think, I need to go and fix this and do the next level. So just get started. Just, go for it.
Such amazing advice, amazing info. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
And please check out her course. Please check out what amazing, innovative work Erinn's doing on their Instagram. If you want to let people know how they can find you also.
Sure. Yeah, so our Instagram is Oteim, OTEIMPEDS, or oteim.com.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This episode is sponsored by Kidology Inc., a nationally recognized pediatric therapy provider. Kidology Inc. delivers comprehensive speech, occupational, physical, and behavior therapy services in a multidisciplinary, multilingual setting. With multiple clinic locations, a mobile therapy bus, sensory play gyms, Kidology ensures access to high-quality, personalized care for children of all abilities. Recognized by the Inc. 5000 and the Philadelphia Inquirer as top workplace and industry leader, Kidology Inc. remains committed to innovation, inclusion, and measurable outcomes. To learn more, visit kidologyinc.com or follow Instagram at Kidology Inc.